Since March 2020, the world has changed. Many people lost their jobs due to the global economic shutdown. Others kept their jobs but were not able to collect any hazard pay or relief pay, even though they were responsible for continuing to keep the world functioning for the rest of us. And those that had spent years of their lives building a business, overnight their doors were shut, many for good. And for those that were on unemployment, at least in the United States, they found out very quickly that if the members of Congress didn't agree to pass another stimulus package, it was the everyday citizen that suffered without income, not the politicians. Even prior to the global economic shutdown, it was clear that what we have been doing hasn't been working. We were taught that if we worked hard, we would succeed. But that hasn't worked out for 98% of the world. So maybe it's time we try something new, or actually something old. So what is a gifting economy? Also known as a family share or a susu, which is a centuries-old practice that originated in West Africa. It refers to a fund where several people pool their money or resources to help each individual member of the community thrive, and therefore the community thrives. These communities have been used for centuries across time and cultures. They consist of like-minded individuals that have trust in each other and a common purpose. Though there have been many names for these economies, they all share the same basic structure. Typically, the community focuses its resources on one member at a time in a scheduled cycle. When the individual receives, they give a portion back to the community, which is then received by another individual, so the cycle can continue until it's their turn to receive again. We will show you in this video how that flow actually works. Many people will be introduced to this gifting economy and quickly label it a pyramid scheme, as it's out of the normal structure that we, as a society, have been brought up to believe in. And though pyramid schemes do exist, it would be unfair to label everything new or different as one. To explain further, traditionally in a pyramid scheme, products must be purchased by individuals and sold to create income. And in order to progress in that structure, they must recruit more individuals who in turn must purchase and sell more products. If you look at a pyramid scheme, it's a few people benefiting from the masses. But a gifting economy is actually a cyclic ecosystem where no one is always at the top or always at the bottom. What most people don't consider is that they're already in a global pyramid scheme, where they trade their time for money or must produce a product in exchange for money. And only those at the top become wealthy. What also makes the gifting economy different from a pyramid scheme is that a member never actually loses money unless they don't participate in the community or leave the community before they receive. You only benefit from these communities, which will be explained more clearly in the description video. Lastly, it's important to keep in mind that what makes the gifting economy so successful is that gifting economies are usually established by friends and family members, people who know and trust each other. In order for it to succeed, it relies on the individual, and the individual relies on the community. If one works against the other, it is therefore working against itself and cannot succeed. Simply, it's its own checks and balance. Therefore, more than likely, you have been invited by a friend or family who you know and trust. Keep in mind when considering to enter a gifting economy that it's right for you, because the economy is looking for people who see the value in it and are willing to participate, not only on the financial level, but in the conversation and the energy of the community. It's meant to be a fun, enjoyable, and beneficial experience. If you're a visual learner, we're now going to show you how the structure of the gifting economy works. The structure of your individual group within the gifting economy itself is called a flower or blossom. The flower consists of 4 stages, which are all identified by 4 different elements. Week 1 is fire, week 2 is air, week 3 is earth, and week 4 is water. In the center of the flower is the 1 water person. In the second ring of the flower are the 2 earth people. In the third ring are the 4 air people. And in the outer ring are the 8 fire people. If you're watching this video right now, more than likely you're in the spark position. A spark is someone who's been introduced to the idea of the gifting economy but hasn't joined the flower yet. Once you decide to enter into the gifting economy, you will become one of the fires. the gifter. The purpose of the fire is to give an unconditional financial gift to the water person. When all 8 fires each give their unconditional gift of $500 to the water person receives a total of $4,000. At this time, the flower will complete and then it splits. Splitting means it separates into 2 new individual flowers. The 2 earths then become a water person in their own flower. Their 2 heirs become their earths, and the 4 fires, including you, become the new heirs. The purpose of the heirs are to invite 2 new sparks to the community, which will become their fires. When all 8 of those fire positions are filled and have gifted their water person, the flower will complete and again split into their own individual flowers. Like before, the earths will become a water person of their own individual flowers. And the heirs, including you, will become the new earths. The fires will become the new heirs, who will each invite 2 new sparks to become their fires. The purpose of the earth is to support the heirs as they invite sparks to the community, as well as support the water person. Once these heirs have invited all 8 of their fires, the flower again completes and splits. At this time, you will become the water person of your own flower. Your heirs will now become your earths. Their fires will become their heirs, who will then invite 2 fires each into the community. As those fires enter into the flower, they will be gifting $500 each directly to you, the water person, who is in the receiving position. In total, you will receive $4,000. At this point, you have gifted $500 as a fire, and now you've received $4,000 as a water, which is a profit after investment of $3,500. You haven't lost any money, you've only profited, and you've completed an entire cycle. Now you may ask, what's next? You have 2 options. Collect your $4,000 and leave the community, or you can do what's called recycling. This means that you will rejoin your original flower as a fire. At this point, you'll take $500 of the $4,000, gift it back to your original water person, leaving you $3,500 to put towards whatever you want. Then you go through the cycle all over again. The only difference this time is that you don't have to invite any new sparks to the community. All this requires is that your fires follow you through the cycle again. Then their fires follow them, and their fires follow them, and so on. This now becomes a passive monthly income, which was created by an initial investment of $500 and an invitation of 2 other people that saw the value in this community just like you did. You can continue this cycle as long as you want, collecting the $4,000 and re-gifting $500 of that back into the community, knowing that in 4 weeks you'll collect another $4,000. But it doesn't have to stop there. You don't have to be limited by 1 flower. If you choose, you can also step into a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or even a 5th flower if you like. Simply gift another $500 into each flower and receive another $4,000 each month. If you were to do this, you could invite 2 new people into the community, or if your original fires are up for it, they can just follow behind you and you never have to invite anyone ever again. You're part of the self-sustaining ecosystem. That is the power of the gifting economy. In simplest terms, a gifting economy is basically you helping 1 person prosper, and in doing so, 8 people help you prosper. So if you're someone who has always wanted to help others and change the world, this is an opportunity to do so. I hope this information about gifting economies has been clear and valuable. For any other questions, please speak to whomever invited you to the gifting economy.